The number one correlate of if a woman is going to get a divorce from a man is if she hangs out with divorced female friends. Interestingly enough, when men hang out with divorced male friends, the male friend tells them that the divorce is fucking horrible. This is awful. This sucks. It's terrible. She took half my shit. She took the kids. She took the money. She took everything. When women hang out with their divorced friends, though, they tell them how great it is, how freeing it is, and how they should join the club. And interestingly enough, one of the most common things which comes up, and this is in lesbian relationships, which would explain this as well, is that when women are around divorced women, that is when they tend to get divorced the most, is if their friends have been divorced. I thought that was an interesting thing.
That is interesting. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, women are easily influenced by other women, and they tend to conform to what other women do. But do you think that doesn't land under the umbrella of like emotion?
Well, I mean, I guess it's under the purview, but what if we reversed it, Q? What if we said, okay, these women are hanging out with all of their friends, and their friends are saying, I'm happily married and this is great, and they're getting positive reinforcement from society and their friends who are around them for their marriages, right? Even if we were to kind of grant the emotion thing, which I'm not disputing, wouldn't that then follow that those women would likely, like they did in earlier years, not be getting divorced at these types of rates? If it was looked at as a positive, right? It's not like, oh, you're liberated. Oh, this guy is oppressive. Oh, it's great being divorced. It's fantastic. I can do whatever I want, wake up when I want, blah, 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 blah.
Well, most men that get divorced, they get married again because they need somebody to like take care of them. Most women that get divorced stay alone because they're like, I don't need to be somebody's like parent. I'm going to just chill by myself, and it's way better alone.
Well, there's a lot of kind of presuppositions which are in here, especially with need. I think that men never usually want to get divorced in the first place, that they would rather kind of
because you
stick
guys
it out
get
with
so
their
much
marriages.
more out of a marriage.
But let me explain my reasoning here. I think it's because men generally are far more moral, and they adhere to a much stricter moral guideline than women tend to. And when they take this kind of vow with women, they tend to take it seriously. They want to stick together with this woman forever and ever and ever and ever. Whereas, well, I mean, you can shake your head, but you have nothing to back any of the things you're saying up. Nothing, right?
If I had my phone, I would be Googling it.
Why is it that women are initiating divorces? Why?
Because they have to do too much for a man. A lot of the time, women are willing to go and be a single mother because they're a single mother at home with their husband. Like they're just not.
So they don't want to. Wait, so
they don't want to take care of an additional person. They want to just take care of themselves and their children. They don't want to have to also take care of a full-grown man.
Yeah, so the husband's out taking care of everybody too.
You're assuming that he is.
Isn't
Most men don't
working?
do that. Most men aren't doing that.
Men are out working their asses off for their women. What do you mean?
Yeah, back in the day when you were young, for sure that's what was going on. Not today.
Well, how young do you think I am? Do you think I'm 90? Like, how fucking old do you think I am, lady?
No. I don't think that you're like ridiculously old.
1948? Do you think I was born back when we smoked the pipes and smacked the bitches? Like, what do you think? How old do you think I am? I'm 40 years old. I was raised in the 90s.
I didn't realize that.
You didn't?
I'm sorry.
I mean, you look older than me. I'm just saying.
No way. That's not true.
Absolutely not.
But Andrew,
I think it's true. I just don't dye the gray out of my hair like all of you do. The only difference is I don't dye the gray out of my hair like all of you do. That's the only difference.
No. What's this?
And if I did, I'd look younger than every one of you. Oh, give me a break. Go ahead, lie to me. You have no gray in your hair and you don't dye any of the gray out, right? Go ahead, lie.
I'm not gonna lie. I will say, exactly. Yes, I do things to help myself look younger. It's the society we live in. It's not my fault that you don't want to take those steps as well. You could have helped yourself out, and I wouldn't have guessed you were older.
It looks prestigious, but if you had no makeup on and all your grays were there, guarantee it, lady, look older than me. So let's not kid ourselves here. But all this aside, while we're trying to dunk on me as though you're not wearing a complete facade that I can't see right through. can we move into the actual data portion of this argument, and you can explain to me how it is that men aren't out there busting their asses in the most treacherous jobs on planet Earth while women are sitting pampered in air-conditioned offices for the most part?
What? What about air-conditioned offices?
Okay, so I'll ask again.
Talking about jobs for gender roles.
Okay.
Women, what types of jobs do you think women are doing? Do you think that they are high on the threshold of danger or very low on
Forrest
the threshold?
Gump donated $200.
I think there's scientists
Jackie
women,
Kennedy,
there's women going
you
to
go
space,
girl.
there's women that are detectives, like there's women doing everything. What are you talking about? Did you not watch the Barbie movie?
So I feel like you can't even hear the question. So just listen to the question that's being asked before
It doesn't
you
matter
answer.
what I answer. You're going to debate it and just say I'm wrong.
No, I'm just going to ask you the question, and then if you answer it in
You
a
said,
way
what
that
job
I
are
agree
women
with,
doing? And
I'll
I
never
said-
debate it, right? I'll never
Okay.
debate it if I agree with the answer.
Okay.
So the question is, do you think that women's jobs are high on the danger threshold scale or low on the danger threshold scale?
Who chose to have a dangerous job and allocate the jobs to whoever? Men did.
I feel like you're allergic to answering a question.
No, because I think that there's
I don't
women that are
understand.
doing
You have
dangerous
allergies
jobs
to
now.
question answering. Is it a condition that you have? Perhaps we should get you some medication to fix the lack of being able to answer a simple question. So I'm going to ask it a third time, perhaps without this time asking me a question instead of answering, or changing the question instead of answering. You just answer the fucking question. So here's the question. Do you think women's jobs are higher or lower on the danger threshold scale?
What? I didn't hear you.
Yeah, I didn't hear you either. Huh? You should vocal fry harder.
It was intentional.
I know it was intentional. Can you answer the fucking question, please?
No, I'm opting out of it. You're
Pretty
just
please
being
with
dramatic.
sugar on
No.
top? No?
No.
Can't do it? It's impossible?
Yes.
Okay.
So Andrew, let's go back to our little exchange, really quickly. You said you seen that the strongest correlate was, or I'm guessing that your source said that the strongest correlate was women being influenced by their friends or having divorced female friends.
Yeah, well,
correct?
this is I don't know if it's the strongest, but it's a really strong correlate that we found was if you're in a group with divorced women and you're not divorced, your likelihood of getting divorced increases exponentially compared to if you're around women who aren't. The way that you could make that comparison is between religious communities and non-religious communities. The more religious the community, the less they tend to divorce, right?
Right.
But there's other correlates there to look at too, which is the religiosity, for instance.
Right.
But it is something that should be looked at, I think.
Right. No, and like I said, I agree. But in terms of where I disagree with that is looking more at the predictor of divorce, and of course this is a much more complex web because then I'm talking about on an individual basis, and what typically happens in marriage dissolution is emotional dissatisfaction, or they say they've grown apart, and typically that results from conflict.
Yes, but the question is, and I agree with all of what you just said, but the question then becomes, why are they saying that?
Right.
Is it coming from them, or is it coming from something which is external? So if it's coming from this external idea, because you're hanging out with a bunch of divorced henpecking bitches, right, who are just like miserable and counting all their cats, and they want misery loves company, as they say. Could that be a good, strong indicator of why you see more women who are in the groups of divorced women getting divorced at much higher rate, right, than when they're in groups of non-divorced women?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's both.
I mean, you could shake your head. You had a chance to argue, though, and all you did was go, So it's like, I don't know what to do about that.
Because you didn't want to listen to me. You didn't want to listen to my points or anything that I was saying. You just wanted to talk over me.
You have to answer questions. You have to answer questions.
Your question was irrelevant.
What's irrelevant?
Your question about, do you think women's jobs are this or this? Do men have more dangerous jobs?
You know what? If you asked me an irrelevant question, I would answer it quickly, and then I would ask you the question that I wanted, or I would dispute whatever you thought was irrelevant. That's the easiest thing to do, is to just dispute whatever's irrelevant. Easiest thing you can do.
No, I was starting to answer you, and then you came for my looks. You said that I looked older than you. You didn't want to actually hear.
No, you started talking shit, so I started talking shit back.
I genuinely did not realize that you were only 40. I apologize. But since women are so emotional, you really handled that very well.
When I wrote your age down at 34, I was also stunned. I was like, this 60-year-old lady's 34? That's insane. Like, it was mind-blowing to me, too. You know what I mean? But I've seen so many women, I think, inside of like I always tell my audience, the women look way worse in person than they do on camera. I think that they all, like, do their makeup specifically knowing they're going on camera. They always look worse, by the way, in person than they do on camera. But more importantly than that is I see the amount of shit they do to themselves, right? So this is me. This is just how I look all the time, day and night, 24 hours a day. Not a one of you look like that. 24 hours a day, not even close, right? And so it's like, fair enough. You can kind of judge the looks, but I'd like to see you no makeup with all the grays. And then I think people would judge it differently. That's all I'm saying.
Man.